Good afternoon. This is the 30th day of January 2014. You're tuned into KTN's News Desk, where news is brought to you as it happens. My name is Boni Tunya. As always, we have a lot lined up for you in this bulletin. But first, let's take a look at the highlights. A starving nation. Government dispatches more food aid to hunger-stricken part of the country. Mombasa ghost workers. An audit report indicates hundreds of workers in Mombasa County government are illegal. And Nairobi land grabbers. Governor Kidero issues an ultimatum to school land grabbers in Nairobi. Welcome to the program. We begin matters in the northern corridor of this country, and the ongoing drought has affected learning in most schools in Turkana County. Schools continue to register few students as many migrate in search of water and pasture. Transportation of relief food to the remote areas is still a challenge. This comes after cattle raid in Kainuk area 2 days ago. The 6 constituencies in Turkana yesterday received 700 bags of maize, 300 bags of beans and 50 cartons of cooking oil and 20 bales of uji mix. Each, the Ministry of Devolution says more food will be distributed over the next week. Here now is KTN's Mercy Kandie with that report. Mercy Kandie actually joins us live by way of phone from Turkana. Good afternoon, Mercy. What do we know so far?
Good afternoon to you, Tunya. It is true that some areas in Turkana County are yet to receive food relief that is being distributed by the national government. I've just spoken to James Flomenen, who's the Turkana South Member of Parliament. Places like Katilu, Kainuk have not yet received food relief from the government. Tuna, you should know that there was a raid in Kakong area just 2 days ago, on the 27th. That is, there was a raid by the Pokot raiders attacked Turkana region, that is in Kakong village. They made away with about 200 cattle. Then they were left with very few cattle. So these residents, the villagers in Kakong area, have now moved 15 kilometers along River Takwel, that's in an area known as Kapsir, and they have moved basically for survival reasons. First, to get water for themselves along River Takwel, and agriculture. There's an initiative there for agriculture that was started by the World Vision. So yes, some locations are yet to receive funding relief food from the government. And Governor Nanok has just finished a press briefing in Lodwar, and he still denies that the national government sent 78 million to the county. And he has told off the members of parliament who said that he is not able to oversee relief fund. He says that he is capable of doing that, but he's also saying that they are not able to transport food up until the national government says that it does not have the capacity as national government to transport this relief food to the regions, the vast regions in Turkana County. He is also saying that the county government has set aside 120 million. They're having issues reaching the National Cereals and Produce Board, so he's saying that they will have to tender from the farmers.
Mercy, other than the government, which is obviously having challenges getting relief assistance to that region, do we have any other aid workers offering relief assistance, and how can the rest of the country join in?
Yes, in fact, we have received calls from, I know people who want to distribute food and try and donate food to the regions. The Kerio Valley Development Authority is also rallying farmers to see if they're able to donate food and send it to the hunger-stricken areas in Turkana County. The Kenya Red Cross is also organizing that. When we spoke last week to the Kenya Red Cross in the North Rift, they were doing an assessment of to know which particular areas are the worst hit, and then they send so that they can be able to send relief food to those particular areas. But yes, just in connection to what we had also said earlier on, it is indeed true that schools have been registering a few number of students. For example, Katilu Primary School, which is in Turkana South, have a number of students, about 60 students only in the school. This also, Tunya, as you know, is as a result of the drought that has continued to hit the region, Tunya.
And Mercy, we understand there are challenges of security due to the raid that happened earlier. Do we have a statement, or what is the government saying regarding to insecurity in that part of the country?
Yes, Tunya, you know what, when we, even when we are transversing the vast Turkana region, part of the challenges, yes, the government has put up police bases within the different regions in Turkana to try and combat this. In fact, there's Kainuk police station. Kainuk borders West Pokot County and Turkana County because the raids are mostly between the Turkana and the Pokot. But also, Tunya, this is one of the challenges that are also brought up by cultural issues. It's also noted that they say that the raids happen mostly during when cultural events are happening, because according to some of the communities' cultural practices is that for you to get married, to get a bride from another community, then you need to give cattle, and probably you don't have them. So you have to go for a raid first to be able to get the cattle. And yes, and also livestock among the Turkana is also very sacred. In fact, yes, it's very sacred. So it's partly a cultural issue, and also, yes, I believe that the security also needs to be heightened in Turkana County. Tunya? All
right, Mercy Kandia, many thanks for bringing us to speed with what is happening in regards to the humanitarian efforts in helping the people of Turkana amid the starvation and hunger in that part of the country. We do understand that people are welcome to donate. The Kerio Valley Development Trust has already marshalling farmers in that part of the country to distribute dry foods to that part of the country. Also, efforts from the Kenya Red Cross are underway to ensure that even people in other parts of the country, Nairobi, for example, can be part of that effort. And KTN is staying on top of that story. We'll be able to let you know how exactly you can help. Moving on to Parliamentary Committee on Education and University Academic Staff Union, UASU, are in consensus that investigations ought to be conducted over an alleged misappropriation of funds disbursed by the government in the year 2012-2013 to honor an overdue collective bargaining agreement signed between the two parties. Now, the committee chaired by Honorable Sabina Shege heard from the union's officials how the university managers diverted the funds meant to pay university workers' salaries and allowances instead of hiking their own salaries and allowances. A total of 17.8 billion shillings was disbursed by Treasury as demanded by the union, but the money is yet to reach the right people.
The universities have admitted openly that although they received 7.8 billion, they used it on other items that they have identified. All the universities have one common denominator. In all the letters tabled before us, every university is saying that they used, the first statements that they used the funds to mitigate capitation deficits. They could not have used these funds without express instruction from the parent ministry. So we are suspecting that what has transpired in the universities in regard to the negotiating funds is well known to the Exchequer, and it's also well known to the Minister of Education.
That you, as the committee, invite the other parties so that you also hear from them before you make an informed decision. Denials and counter-denials, whether in the press or any other media, will not help.
We need to take this matter not just with the seriousness, but with the urgency also that it deserves. We have already had an indicator from the Auditor General, Madam Chair. We need to act on the report of the Auditor General, because the Auditor General was very specific about the Ministry of Education. And so we cannot be here going through the same song and choruses.
Before we summon anybody else, we would like to hear from the council themselves, because they are the authorized people to supervise university operations.
Preferably next week on Wednesday, we will summon the Ministry of Education, the Ministry of Finance, We also need to summon yourself back here again as a union. We'll also need to have the university councils coming. And out of what have been raised, we have documents for the past year and also this year. We would also like to have a special audit from the Auditor General's office. So we'll also be doing that request.
Next is a story that should worry you. Only 8 employees in Mombasa County Government's workforce of over 2,000 personnel are aged below the age of 30. A forensic report of the Mombasa County Government has revealed shocking details of ghost workers and persons earning salaries illegally. The report conducted by audit firm Ernst & Young has also revealed that only 1 employee out of Mombasa County's 2,763 strong workforce has a verifiable letter of employment. The shocking details were revealed yesterday in Mombasa, in which the audit found out that 1 employee registered as dead was still earning a salary. The report further reveals that 4 employees aged 61 and above were still on the payroll. Although the official retirement age is 60, in fact, Mombasa County Government has over 800 employees aged between 51 and 60. While the highest number of employees is aged between 41 and 50. Over 200 workers also had irregular documentation in that county. Now, this included fake IDs, fake PIN numbers, and fingerprints that did not match those in documents provided to the government. Concerns are also raised over 2 employees who, at the time of employment, were aged below 18.
Kwa hivyo pia kuweka mambo wazi, maana kama sasa umefikisha ule mji wa retirement na bado uko kwenye payroll, it's also not within the law. Kuweza kufanya counseling, consultation, kuzungumza nao, but 100 by June of this year watakuwa tunaweza comfortably waende nyumbani.
We want to cross now live to Mombasa, and our senior reporter Fadi Antomondi is there to give us a clearer picture of this situation. Fadi, good afternoon, and this must be shocking news, isn't it?
Bonnie, this is indeed very shocking news. So much for youth empowerment. Out of over 2,700 employees, only 8 are age 30 and below. And listen to this, the highest number of employees there, that's 1,037, are aged between 41 and 50. And another 899 aged between 51 and 60. So many, maybe some of them already have attained that retirement age. And that is not all. 61 to 70 years old people who are supposed to be in retirement, 4 of them were still on the payroll. There's another shocking detail that came out in terms of education. The highest number of employees in Mombasa County Government have only a KCPE certificate. 1,136 have not gone beyond secondary school, primary school education rather, according to that audit report, and only 998 have KCSE degree. Now, of 2,000 employees, 2,700, only 178 have a degree, and a further 158 have no further education, no formal education at all. Now, Bonnie, we also had cases of people who might call ghost workers. One who was classified as diseased was still receiving a salary. There's a payroll showing that somebody who is dead is still collecting salary from the county government. And then another further 7 people whose contracts were said to have been terminated. The people who are perceived to have been sacked are also still on the payroll. And listen to this, 12 people also had PIN numbers that exceeded 12 digits to show that their PIN numbers were fake. They were on the payroll. And other people also had ID number issues. I could just read to you a bit of what this meant here. And it shows that 6 of the ID numbers submitted by the employees differed with those held by the National Registration Board. Names appearing in 5 of the IDs submitted were different from the names appearing in the records. And then ID numbers submitted by employees also, there's some that did not exist as per the National Registration Board records. So this is a very damning indictment of the kind of employees here at the county government. Of course, these were inherited from the former municipal county government that was headed by the former Sheikh Muqdar. Bonnie.
Fadi, of course, this revelation is an indictment to the appointing authority or the employing authority in Mombasa County. Have we had any kind of response from, say, the governor or his office?
Yes, the Deputy Governor Hazel Katana was there during the function when Anson Young was presenting the report, and she did indicate that there are layoffs coming in the coming months. Actually, she gave us a precise figure: at least 100 shall have been laid off by June. And in her own admission, she said that if there are people who are indeed aged beyond 61 and above and supposed to have been retired, these are people who are earning or drawing salaries illegally. They're supposed to be on pension, and she said that now the county government is going to put measures in place to make sure that they are eased out of employment, given their benefits, counseling, and to be explained why they have to go home. So her figure is about 100 by June shall have gone, and it's perhaps maybe after doing further reports and doing an assessment of the employee workforce, they might be able to reorganize the payroll a bit further. But her commitment is that 100 will have gone by June. Goni.
Many thanks, Ferdinand Omondi. Of course, you'll get a detailed report on that particular incident in Mombasa County in our subsequent bulletins. Moving on, the humanitarian situation in crisis hit South Sudan and is by the day deteriorating. Thousands of stranded South Sudanese who have fled the fighting are now camping at a few hospitals in the country to seek refuge. The Malakal Hospital is in the Upper Nile is among those overwhelmed by the number of refugees seeking assistance. Basic supplies like food, water and medicine have been exhausted, leaving the sick in dire condition. South Sudanese health officials are worried that hospitals and IDP camps will fail to alleviate the suffering.
This, of course, has detrimental effects on the performance of the healthcare professionals who are really trying their best under these very difficult conditions to do what they could to save the lives, but now it is made difficult. I have seen cases who got the adequate care that they needed, but they caught infection inside the hospital. And it's, to me, I feel many of those may simply lose their parts as a result of what we are seeing today.
Let's now go to Kisumu County, and the Governor, Jack Ranguma, has suspended a ban on night operations among motorcycle and three-wheeler taxis after operators took to the streets and marched to his office to demand clarification on the new rule that was imposed by Kisumu County government. Under the ban, the taxis were to operate between 5 a.m. and 10 p.m. while staying outside Kisumu Central Business District, with operators expected to register with active community groups that the county government recognizes to curb runaway insecurity. Security agents say 90% of night border and tuk-tuk operators are criminals, and the strict measures will decrease cases where criminals have taken advantage of the business to rob unsuspecting residents.
And yet we've been left out, not yet even brought on board on one very good fine time.
It's a matter that I will investigate personally. Yes. Yesterday I had a meeting I had a security meeting with the police, and they are the ones who raised it with me. That's how I got to know.
Kakamega County Governor Wycliffe Oparanya has denied reports that his government has introduced new and outrageous taxes that will burden his residents. The governor stated that those criticizing the county's financial bill are exaggerating. He also denied that his county assembly members had snubbed a bonding meeting with executives in Eldoret. Now, Oparanya also defended his Embu counterpart Martin Wambora, who was impeached by the county assembly, claiming that such hurried decisions by county legislators will kill the spirit of devolution.
The enemies of devolution are there. They are even talking of issues that are not in the finance bill. If you meet them and ask them where is the bill, they will not show you the bill. They will tell you they have heard. I think what they should do, they should give us time. When the bill, I'm elected by the people also. So I cannot assent to a bill that I feel that will hurt the people. What is happening in Embu? This will be giving a chance to the national government to say, now the county government cannot work effectively, let's now go back to where we were. And remember, this constitution, we have fought for it for the last 20 years. And this is what Wananchi wanted. Please give us time. I'm not aware of anybody who has snapped this meeting. Can you go there and confirm how many are there? If one or two people who has his personal interest, he wants to have his personal interest override the county, the whole population count interest, have decided not to come, the majority are here.
Let's come back to the city. Nairobi governor and county government has put the land grabbers in this county on notice. Nairobi Governor Ivan Skidero says those who have grabbed land belonging to public schools should surrender immediately. He says that buildings constructed on grabbed land will be demolished and land reclaimed for schools. This is according to Skidero. Now, most public schools in Nairobi are sitting on inadequate land, making learning for children a challenge. Skidero was speaking during a stakeholders forum in education standards in public primary schools in the city.
One of my key performance indicators during my governorship will be the performance of our children in public primary schools. Because I want our children from public primary schools to sit in State House one day. And that can only happen if we give them a good education, we give them a good foundation.
Right, did you remember the website you need to be reading is standardmedia.co.ke for details on the stories that you see on this particular bulletin and elsewhere. Also, on our official handle at KTN News Desk, be free to engage with me regarding the story of the ghost workers of Mombasa. What are your thoughts and what should be done? It's time to take a short break. I'll be back with more news. This is KTN News Desk. Let's do some sports now. And promoted top fry Nakuru All Stars Football Club have unveiled former Nairobi City Stars technician Oliver Page as their new coach on a 3-year contract. First league assignment will be against Sony Sugar at Awendo Green Stadium on February the 15th. Oliver beat a strong field of 6 experienced coaches who included 3 foreigners prior to the new appointment. Page, who was a technical director at a German Bundesliga, Page says he understands the challenges that new teams in the Kenyan Premier League face in their first year, but exuded confidence of ensuring the team remains in the top flight football after the 2014 season.
Day two. So far, so good.
It is our desire, both as the Top Fry All-Stars and with our sponsor, to make sure that our youth structures are the best in the country.
I think our aim is first to get as fast as possible 37 points, so then we can make sure Top Fry's Nakuru All-Stars is staying in the league.
Let's take a quick look at what is happening in the world of business. And sub-Saharan Africa was once referred to as a dark, backward and even hopeless continent. But over the last 10 years, a revolution spurred on by an increasingly educated and growing youthful population and an abundance of natural resources like oil and minerals has seen the continent enjoy some of the fastest growing economic growth rates in the world. It is this potential that has raised the interest of Anglo-South African financial services provider Old Mutual, which is moving in to increase its presence in the region. The firm has set aside 45 billion shillings to tap the region's fast-growing economies like Ghana and Nigeria, and has so far spent 10.75 billion shillings on various acquisitions in the region. Right, as I alluded earlier, Edith Kimani is away a little bit under the weather, but that does not stop us from giving you a did you know fact, and it's totally a fact you don't need to know. So here goes. Did you know that it's actually possible to die from a broken heart? Right, like someone broke your heart. This condition is actually called stress cardiomyopathy. I don't know where you'll use that. My name is Bonnie Tunya. I'll see you again for Business in the Evening. Good afternoon.